This is an instructional video for the Drummer Boy of Shiloh RQG assignment. When you click on the RQG assignment, there are 3 sections. Each one stands for one initial in RQG. Part 1 is the reading check, Part 2 is question support, and Part 3 is grammar practice. So for Part 1, a reading check, you get a question based off of your comprehension or understanding of the story, The Drummer Boy of Shiloh by Ray Bradbury that we just read this week, a day or two ago. So let's go through, we'll do one of these together. Part 1 will be questions 1 through 5. And simply enough, let's just do number 1. So what is Joby, that's our main character, the Drummer Boy of Shiloh, what is he doing when that story begins? Is he setting up his tent in an open field? Is he lying awake in a field at night awaiting his first battle? Is he trying to get out of the rain and find warmth? Is he fearing his first battle, but spending this moment writing a letter home? So we know Joby is young. He has joined the Civil War as a drummer boy, and when we start the story, he is lying awake in a field at night, waiting for his first battle, which is going to be the following day. Okay, so that's your kind of the gist of what to do for Part 1. Those go with your comprehension of the story. Part 2 are question support. A little bit higher order thinking questions here. All right, this is when the other characters come into play, specifically Joby and his interaction with the general. So why is that important? So let's look at number 6. The general has a positive effect on Joby because. So we're talking about the general and Joby's interaction here. 6, he convinces Joby that his age has no effect on his job. You know, your age doesn't matter. He convinces Joby that he is an important part of the army. He convinces Joby that his parents must certainly be proud of him. He convinces Joby that this will only be the first of many big events in his life. Okay, so the general is there to kind of give moral support to Joby. Joby's worried about what he's going to face in the battle the next day, and the general's going to lift him up and tell him, hey, you're an important part of this army. You know, all these other guys, these soldiers could not do what they need to do without you doing your job, giving them the correct cadence and marching orders by beating your drum. Okay, so he's convincing Joby that he's an important part of the army. Now, Part 3 is grammar practice. The grammar practice section for this RQG is subject-verb agreement. Okay, so you're going to get a subject or subjects in the sentence, and you need to choose which verb goes with them. Now, I gave you a hint right here. If your subject ends with an S, your verb will not, or vice versa. If your subject does not end with an S, your verb will. Now, sometimes you have more than one subject, and you need to look at the one that is closest to your verb choice. So we'll do one of each here. So let's do 10. Items in the aisle blank piled up on top of each other. So what is the sentence about? Items. Does items end with an S? Yes. So if this ends with an S, your verb choice should not. So the only verb choice that does not end with an S would be are. Items in the aisle are piled on top of each other. Okay, so let's move down. Let's do number 14 together. The brass record with holes blank music. Who or what is that sentence about? The brass record. Record. Does record end with an S? No. So your verb should. Plays. The brass record with holes plays music. Okay, we'll do one more. Let's do number 20 together. John or Doris blank to us regularly. Now we have 2 subjects, John and Doris. We're going to choose the one closest to our verb choice. So Doris is the closest one to our blank line here. Does Doris end with an S? Yes. So your verb choice should not. John or Doris write to us regularly. And that is how you complete the RQG.